He grew up in a small town in southeastern Massachusetts with a minute Jewish population. His parents, Marilyn and Bob, made a choice to send him to Jewish camp. That choice transformed his life.
I first met Mark Sokoll when he became the Jewish educator at the JCC, and I walked in and I was introduced to him, and he was in an afro and a printed shirt and sandals and a beard, and I looked at this guy and I said, who did they hire? And from then on, Mark became a superstar.
He kept moving up and up, couldn't hold a job, he kept getting promoted, and eventually got the big one.
I'm not sure when he started as the director of JCC Newton that he expected to become the director of JCC Greater Boston and have it become a JCC Beyond the Walls.
I met Mark in 1978. I had just returned from Israel. He handed me a note and he said, I heard you're making Aliyah to Israel. I am too. Will you marry me? And I have to say, I had never heard a pickup line like that before. And that was it. From that day on, he made me laugh the first day and he's still making me laugh.
He has always been someone to find a special way of weaving in the Torah and the Grateful Dead.
One year on Purim, for a Purim spiel that we had, he came dressed as Vashti. So after that, we knew Mark was the right person for the job.
He often visited the preschool classrooms during Shabbat celebrations, sitting on those little chairs that we have in our classrooms, just enjoying and singing with the children.
Everything he does with his heart on his sleeve.
I joined the board, and at that time, it started a love relationship. Mark is the type of individual that you get to know when you love.
He is the most charismatic leader I may have ever worked with. He's just got that quality that makes you want to be part of whatever he's doing.
So when I first met Mark, it was during the interview process for my current role. And he's a tall guy. He stood up, shook my hand, and there was just this warmth and excitement and welcoming.
You know, it's like the eternal flame in the temple. He's got that burning inside him. 7 in the morning or 11 at night, he's willing to talk, engage, think, dissect, and connect.
He's been with me in good times, in challenging times.
He has decades of experience not only making great, exciting decisions, but understanding that true leadership is when you have to make the really tough calls.
He came to me and said, Bruce, you know, as hard as this may sound, but we're going to have to close the Stryer JCC. But with that money that we are not losing, but saving, we could create new programs, more exciting programs, actually serve more communities.
He's been able to deal with these things that come along, and they're very unexpected, such as COVID.
One of the hardest decisions we had to make over the past couple of years was not opening our camp programs in the summer of 2020. There are still challenges in running these programs and managing these programs, but through the perseverance of our teams and Mark's leadership, we're still here today.
Mark's somebody that you call if you're elsewhere in the field and you're looking for insider wisdom into how to overcome a challenge or embrace an opportunity.
Mark has believed in family engagement from the moment that Betsy came to him about 13 years ago with the idea of PJ Library. Believe it or not, that was a radical idea at the time. PJ Library was about getting books into the hands of families who lived far away from our JCC.
And he also had an interesting vision that for me was novel and was new. JCCs are not about bricks and mortar. They're about touching people, getting to people where they live.
And let's not stop there until we've managed to engage every single family with young children in Jewish life that's meaningful for them.
When I first approached Mark about having Opus be on the campus of the JCC, he immediately embraced the concept of shared resources, shared programming, synergistic operations. And so immediately we had a partner who got it.
I was just so excited that he was able to work with her, work with True Life to create the groundwork that will impact future generations for many years.
All these different JCCs around the country are following what we have done here in Boston with family engagement, and they look at Mark's papers and they look at what he's doing and what he's saying and how Boston, quote, Boston is thinking.
He's really put this JCC on the map nationally. He's been a leader and a model, I think, for what JCCs can and what they will hopefully continue to become.
And I think that's his secret sauce, is knowing how to build community.
He had a vision of the JCC being a place where everybody was welcome, where everybody could come together, where nobody looked down on anybody else, and we can celebrate our Judaism and our community.
There's no right or wrong Jewish.
One of the things I really appreciate about my dad is how much he has listened and learned from me when it comes to LGBTQ issues. And he's used what he's learned to make real lasting impacts on LGBTQ people and families, I think, in the Jewish community in Boston.
Mark leaves such big shoes to be filled, but he's created a culture in Boston of warm, open, and embracing Jewish community.
People grow under Mark. People thrive under Mark. And Mark thrives by helping others to thrive too.
He has set us up for success, and that's an invaluable legacy that will be appreciated and leaned on for years to come.
Every day is a learning opportunity, not only for me as a board chair, but as an individual, how I be a better husband, father, leader.
I would say there's ways in which I'm a better parent to my children because of the wisdom Mark has shared with me.
He has taught me to not take the easy way out. The hard path is sometimes the better decision, and it's okay to make that difficult decision.
Whatever he learned from me, I learned much more from him. How to be a mensch.
Whether it be to a JCC function or a Shiva call or your third cousin's wedding, nobody shows up like Mark Sokoll shows up.
I remember Mark is a fan of the Grateful Dead, so I'm sure he's thinking about the long, strange trip.
When I think back on my almost 44 years together with Mark, I have to quote the Grateful Dead lyrics. It really has been a long, strange,
heartfelt,
inspiring, generational,
never boring,
challenging,
supportive,
unpredictable,
transformational,
innovative,
joyous,
wonderful,
And the Shama-filled, spectacular trip it's been.